Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the True North podcast. I'm your host, Benedict Rhodes. Earlier this month, one of Canada's top gymnasts, Cambridge, Ontario's Emma Spence, announced her retirement from elite competition with Team Canada and that she will walk away from the sport after one last NCAA season at the University of Nebraska. She joins the show to discuss her decision to retire, her role in some huge Canadian gymnastics moments, what life is like as an Olympic alternate, and more. Hope you enjoy our discussion. I'm excited now to be joined by Emma Spence. Emma, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
I guess we'll start with the big recent news, I guess, and that's that you've decided to sort of transition away from elite gymnastics and the national team. Why was now the right time, I guess, for you to make that decision and heading into this sort of final NCAA season?
I think right now is just a good time because I just finished going through my second Olympic cycle. Um, I was an Olympic alternate twice now, which is crazy to think, but going through that experience twice, I feel like I've gotten as much out of it as I think I could have. I tried for the Olympics twice. Was pretty close twice. And yeah, I think I'm proud of where I'm at, what I've achieved, and I have one more year left of NCAA, and I just want to be able to fully enjoy that, be present with my team, and soak in all the experience without having to worry about competing elite on the side or like afterwards. So I think it was just a good time because yeah, it just felt right. If I were to stick around for the next Olympics, it's another 4 years, and I don't know if my body is going to be able to handle that anyways, or just mentally, because it is a lot. And I just felt like it was a good time, considering where my NCAA career is at and after everything I've accomplished in elite.
And I know you'd spoken previously about maybe retiring in 2022, but you maybe kind of found a new love, I guess, for the sport. Do you feel now, maybe looking back, that that was the right choice, and maybe now you're kind of holding the cards and maybe doing it on your own terms, I guess?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, after my first year of NCAA, I love the sport again and I was wanting to continue doing it. And after Team Canada qualified a team for the Olympics, and I was part of that team at the World Championships with that historic bronze medal. After that competition, I was like, okay, I think this is a sign I got to try for the next Olympics. It was always in the back of my mind, but after not making it the first time, it was very mentally challenging to get myself to do that again because I put myself at risk of not making it again, which was something that was kind of scary for me because it was hard not making it the first time. So I did want to go into it trying to I really wanted to have no regrets. I wanted to go out there, give it everything I had, and know that whatever happens, happens. And I can look back and always say, like, I did give it my best. And I think I can say that, like, confidently say that I did go into it. I did my best. I did the best that I could with everything that was given to me. And I'm proud of that because for the longest time, I wasn't sure if I was going to do that or not. But yeah, overall, looking back, I'm glad that I did. And I'm glad that I mean, it would have been nice to make the Olympics the second time because I did have to go through that kind of disappointment after not making it the second time, but at least this time I knew how to handle it because I've been through it before.
You mentioned that. What is the role of an Olympic alternate? Like leading up to the games and during the games, like what does that kind of look like, I guess, for you and for the rest of the team as well?
So the first time, um, it actually both times were pretty similar, but I trained with the team up until they left for the Olympics. And then when they were at the Olympics, I still had to like send videos of my training in case anyone got hurt and I have to be sent over to where they were at. So that was challenging because I mean the first time I was like still in group chats and I could still see like what they were doing when they were at the Olympics and I was left at home having to train and like send updates in case anyone got hurt. The second time I kind of had that conversation with them saying like it was really hard for me to see what you guys were doing. So they said that they were going to make a different group chat so I didn't have to go through that, which is also kind of sad, but at the same time I think it was better for my mental health. So I just stayed back. I trained. I was training with the team until like the day that they left to go to Paris. So That role was difficult because I was like part of the team, but at the same time I wasn't, because once they left, it was like, okay, my role was kind of done. But at the same time, I still had to be in touch with them in case anyone got hurt. So I was like in touch with them until the last day that you could substitute athletes.
And obviously, it's not an easy position to be in, like you mentioned, but with a bit of time removed now, can you kind of look back on it and be like, yeah, I was one of the best gymnasts in the country, and you were that close, even if it was excuse me, a bit disappointing to not go, I'm sure, but can you look back on that proudly?
I can. I'm trying to, it's still hard to think about, and it's still a little bit upsetting. And I think it's always going to be like, oh, I was so close. And like, even when I talk to like friends and family, I'm like, oh yeah, I was like an Olympic alternate. And they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. And I was like, yeah, like they hype it up, but internally I'm still kind of beating myself up about it. I do hope I get to a point where I'm like proud of it. And I know that I'm proud of it because I know I gave it everything I had and I did the best that I could. But it is definitely a tough position to be in. But yeah, you're right. I'm trying to look at it in a positive way and reminding myself that it is still a big achievement.
And how much did the postponement of the Tokyo Olympics affect you? Like, I know some athletes said to give them a bit more time to train, or maybe the opposite. It kind of messed with their sort of training schedule, I guess, the 4-year cycle. How did that maybe affect your preparation?
I feel like it kind of did both of those things that you said. First, because it was and like the next year, that means a whole other pool of athletes were able to qualify for the Olympics. And that impacted us kind of in a way that like even one of the girls that made the team wouldn't have made the team if it was in 2020. So it kind of changed the pool of athletes and the people that you were competing against. But then it also, during the COVID lockdown, you weren't able to practice for a couple months in the gym. So you had to figure out how to practice at home, do workouts at home or outside as much as you could. So that part was really different. And then even when you got to train again, it was only like, I don't know, in Canada, there was that rule that only athletes that were like in contention for the Olympics were allowed to train for a while. So there was only like two or three girls in my gym training with me with like one coach. So the vibe and like the dynamic of training for the Olympics felt really different because it wasn't like a regular training environment. So I had to adapt to that. And then leading up to those Olympic trials, all of the competitions were kind of virtual. So we like sent videos in of our competition routines. So that was different because a lot of people compete better or like perform better in their home gym than like on the international stage. I'm almost the opposite. I like the big crowds and the big lights and everything. I feel like I do better in that setting. And in the gym, I was almost like, I don't know, it was just like a normal training day. So it wasn't like as stressful. And I do better under like the stressful settings. So that worked for some people and others it didn't. So I feel like that kind of determined who made the team during that time as well.
And you've been at Nebraska now for a few years, of course. What made you want to go there? Like, I know obviously the NCAA is a different beast than anything you have north of the border, but
Mhm.
what kind of drew you to the NCAA and especially to Nebraska?
Yeah, for the longest time, I didn't really know if I was going to be doing NCAA at all because, like you mentioned, it's not a thing in Canada, and I just personally didn't know about it or how it worked or anything gymnastics NCAA related at all. But I talked to some people that have done it, and the coaches reached out to me. They came to watch one of our Canadian championships, showed interest in me, and met with my coaches, talked to my coach about how it worked, and then he relayed the information back to me, and then I got connected with the NCAA coaches at Nebraska. That's kind of how it worked out, and then from there, we just had some really like good conversations about where I'm at, how like even the things that I don't understand about NCAA, they explained it to me, and they were very supportive, and I just felt a strong connection with them. So I just decided that that was the place that I wanted to be. I knew that I never really wanted to be in a big city or anything. It's just not my vibe. So I did really like the city and everything in Lincoln. So yeah, it just seemed like somewhere I wanted to be. It's interesting because I never got to visit because it was during COVID when I made this whole decision. So the coaches gave me like virtual FaceTime tours, and based on that, I decided to commit here.
And you had a pretty big year last year. And so going into your senior year, I guess, what are the expectations for you personally and as a team heading into this NCAA season?
This year, so like overall, I just want to try and embrace every opportunity because it is going to be my last year ever doing gymnastics. Take advantage of everything and just soak in all the moments with my teammates and on the competition floor. Uh, Personally, it's like gymnastics wise, I just want to get, I don't know, like the highest scores that I can. The goal is always a 10 on the events. I think it'd be really cool if I could get a 10. I'm going to strive for that. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but I think that would be a really cool way to finish off my senior year. And then as a team, we really want to qualify to the national championships or even like the regional championships, like the last qualifying round before nationals, like just see how far we can go as a team and qualify together to as close as the national championship, if not there.
And Nebraska has a pretty, proud sporting history. And I think you were actually there a few years ago or last year when they had the 90,000 fans for the volleyball game. That must have been a crazy experience.
Yes, it was so amazing. The student athletes were allowed to go like on the floor to watch the volleyball. So we were like in the stadium, but like on the field area watching. And it was just amazing because after there was all the fireworks and the light shows and like the whole celebration because we just broke a world record. And it was just amazing to be a part of that.
Do you think it's ever possible to do something like that for gymnastics? Like maybe not outside, but like at a huge stadium, maybe?
I don't know. I haven't really thought of that before. Um, I think if it were outside, it would be really interesting because like the wind and stuff would definitely throw you off. But if there was like a big indoor stadium, like maybe, I don't know, like a basketball, I don't know what, probably basketball or like a hockey area has like really big seating. Something like that would be really cool.
And after the season comes to the end, what's next for you? Like, do you want to do coaching or anything, or do you want to take a bit of a break first, maybe?
I think I'll probably end up taking a break from gymnastics, kind of taking a step back and seeing what I want to do with that. I am now the Gymnastics Canada athlete representative. So that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of what I'm going to do to like stay in the gymnastics side of things for now. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing coaching. And I've also been suggested like, oh, you'd be a good gymnastics judge, but I don't think I want to do that. I don't know. I feel like I would feel bad critiquing people because it's like, I know how hard it is. I know you're trying your best. Like I would feel bad docking points off of them. So I don't think I would actually be a good judge. Um, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna need to take a step back and kind of see if I miss it. And then if I still want to be a part of it. But I do enjoy that athlete rep position. Um, so yeah, I do graduate in May, and then I kind of have to figure out what to do. I think I'm going to get my master's degree. I'm not too sure in what yet. I got to apply for that soon, but that's what I'm focusing on doing next.
Yeah, it's a very Canadian way of looking at judging. Not sure if you want to critique someone.
That's true. That is true.
You mentioned the athlete representative role. What does that role kind of look like, and how important, I guess, is a role like that for gymnastics, but also kind of sport in general?
So basically, what I do is I'm like the voice of the national team athletes, the women's side. So if they have any issues or anything they want to address to like the board of directors or anything like that, they will go through me and like I can say it if they don't want to be doing that on like themselves. And I also sit in on like important meetings on like team selection, carding, like all that kind of stuff, just to make sure things are fair and that there's an athlete like the athlete has a voice in those settings as well. So I'm basically looking for like the best interests of the athletes on the team, which is really I don't know, I really enjoy that because with my experiences at Gymnastics Canada, I feel like sometimes the athletes' voices weren't a priority. And I want to be able to make sure that the athletes do have a say and that their well-being is put first.
Few years ago, before you went to Nebraska, you of course went to the Youth Olympic Games and won a bronze medal there and had the chance to carry the Canadian flag in the closing ceremony. What was that experience like, and what did that sort of opportunity, I guess, to carry the flag mean to you as a proud Canadian?
Yeah, that was an unreal experience. I think that's still one of my favorite competitions to this day. I've never been to any other competition like that. So how that worked is it was because it was the Youth Olympics, it wasn't like as big an event as the actual Olympics, but Because of that, there was only one athlete per sport, for individual sports selected to compete. So to qualify, I had to be the top Canadian gymnast at the time in my level and like age group. So once I qualified to that, I was able to receive all of the gear, all the special leotards, and we stayed in an Olympic athlete village. Got to meet so many athletes from different countries, compete with them. And it was just a really great community, a great environment because everyone was just super excited to be there. Everyone was pretty young still. And it was like an Olympic experience, but for younger athletes. So everyone was just super excited and proud to be there. I honestly wasn't really expecting that bronze medal on vault. I don't know if you've seen the videos of like my reactions, but I was just super excited when I saw that because by earning that medal, I made history for Canada by being the first gymnast to win a Youth Olympic medal. So that was unreal experience. I was super happy with that. And then, yeah, I didn't even know that I would have been in contention or anything for carrying the flag. But yeah, that was when it was actually Bruni Surin that came up to me. First of all, he's a Canadian legend himself. So when he came over to talk to me, I was already kind of in awe. And then he told me that like they were talking and they wanted me to be the flag bearer. And I was just super excited because I didn't even know I was in contention for that. Walking out there was an amazing experience. I had to wear like the whole Canadian tracksuit, carry the flag, having everyone cheer when I did that for Canada. And yeah, it was just an amazing experience.
And then after that, what was the transition like, I guess, to the senior level of gymnastics, going from being the top junior to, a small fish in a big pond, maybe, but like kind of at a new level, I guess, that is much higher.
It was interesting because it was like I looked up to all the seniors, like they were all my role models. So then when I was finally in the same competition as them, I was like in awe of them almost too. Even I remember my first international competition, there were all these Olympians that I was competing against, and I just thought that that was the coolest thing because it's like, oh wow, like I've watched you on TV so many times, and now I'm literally competing against you. So at first, it was a lot of just like super grateful and proud to be there. And I think because of that comparison that I had in my head, I felt like I didn't really belong there fully because I was like, what am I doing competing against all of these Olympians? But over time and throughout the competitions, I was proving to myself and the like Gymnastics Canada Federation that I was in contention for these big competitions as well. And having the opportunity to do those, compete with the team and do well, I guess it improved my confidence and I think probably their confidence in me, which is why I was allowed to compete at so many other big international competitions afterwards.
And we can't talk about Team Canada without talking about Ellie Black, of course. I'm sure she's one of the people you were thinking of in that moment.
Yes.
She's obviously a legend in this country and still going. What can you say about her as a teammate and a gymnast, but also as a person and someone you've gotten to know well, I'm sure, over the years?
Yeah, Ellie is just such an amazing person in every way. She's such a good team leader. Like even at that 2022 World Championships, she's just such an amazing leader. She puts the team first. She supports everyone. She's just kind, just an amazing person. And that's one person that I was just so in awe of and just basically, so when I was like 7 years old, 8 years old, I had a picture with her because I was just like, she was training at my club and I asked her to get a picture with her. And then here I was like, probably like, I don't even know, 10 years later, competing with her on the same team. And I was like, hey, Ellie, look at this picture. I was like 7 years old and you were my biggest idol. And just being able to be on the competition floor with her was amazing. And then at the end of that World Championships, we were like signing papers and like doing autographs. And I was like, oh, by the way, like, look at, I do my E like in my signature the same way she does because I got her autograph when I was like 7 years old. And I was like, I want to be just like Ellie Black. So I like studied how she wrote her E in her name. And that's how I do mine. And I just never told her. And I never like, yeah, I never had the opportunity to show her, but I was like, look, this is because you gave me your autograph when I was like 7 years old and you were my like biggest idol. And so it was just like a full circle moment, I would say, just being able to compete with her and then seeing who she was as a person, not just as a gymnast, and knowing that she's just such an amazing person on top of that. Yeah, I don't have like any bad things to say about her. She's just such an amazing person.
And what's it like as a young athlete, the first time you're asked for an autograph or a photo or something? Like that must be kind of a strange experience.
That was cool because I was always the little girl that if I saw anyone, I would go up to them right away, ask for their autograph, ask for pictures. So then when someone did that to me, I was like, wait, actually? Like, you really want a picture with me? So yeah, that's super cool.
You mentioned the 2022 World Championships. Canada, of course, won like you said, a historic bronze medal. Um, how significant of a moment was that for Canadian gymnastics, to see Canada up there with, the United States, Great Britain above Brazil? Like how significant of a moment was that for the team?
That was unreal because none of us were really expecting it. We qualified in eighth, so we were technically last going into this competition. So we really just wanted to do our best. That was all we could do. People didn't really expect us to be in medal contention or anything, which I think we used that to our advantage because we didn't have as much pressure and stress on us like the other countries did. And yeah, just coming out with a medal and we qualified Team Canada to the Olympics 2 years in advance and we got that medal. It was just, we were so proud of ourselves. We fought till the end. There were a lot of mistakes during that competitions from other teams, but we kept it together. We were the only team in that competition that didn't count a full, which was a really big deal. We were really, really proud of that. So yeah, we stayed true to ourselves. We enjoyed the competition. We had fun together, and I think it just proved to the rest of the world that Team Canada is capable of doing good gymnastics. I feel like we've always been a little bit underestimated, and that really put us on the map. And I feel like that was a big turning point for Canadian gymnastics.
And that same year, of course, the Commonwealth Games, you were there, crushed it. I think it's 3 medals, only individual to go to every final, I believe, as well. How important was that competition, I guess, for you in your career? And would you maybe say that was kind of the height, I guess, of maybe your powers, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that was probably my most, I think it is the like one of the best competitions I've ever done or competed at ever, like score wise and rankings and all of that. I think so basically after that freshman year of NCAA, I was wanting to go back to elite gymnastics and just do like one or two competitions and be done. That was in my head. I was okay, this might be my last ever elite gymnastics competition. And I just wanted to give it everything that I had. I wanted to be able to enjoy the moment, soak in the crowd, and just take advantage of every moment that I had and just embrace it all. And that is what I did. And by doing that, I proved to myself, and I think other people watching too, that you can have fun in the gym and you can have fun competing and still do really well, which is something that I didn't really believe at the time. It was more like I thought that I had to be very serious and I had to, yeah, try and be someone that I wasn't to do the best that I could in gymnastics. But I really proved to myself that I do my best when I'm just being myself. And that was a really big turning point for me. And then my all around highest score ever, I think, and all the medals on the other events. I was just super proud of that. And it was an amazing experience. It was also in an athlete's village too. So those kind of competitions are just so much fun.
What is the vibe like in an athlete's village? Seeing people with different flags, different uniforms, but kind of being from the same sport, maybe, or different sports. Like, what's that sort of unique experience like?
It's pretty cool because it's all high level athletes. Everyone has their own country that they're representing and they wear that gear and they have the flags put up around the like their apartment area that they're living, but they have a lot of common areas too. So they have like gaming rooms and like TV rooms, and they have like outdoor games like table tennis and like that kind of stuff. They have a lot of interactive things to connect people from different countries so that you can make friends with other people. And then we all have shared dining halls. And I think they had like a hair salon, a nail salon. They had a bunch of like random things like that. So you're able to go to all these things and then meet people from different countries, and everyone had something in common because we were all high level athletes, whether we're from the same sport or the same country or not. We had a lot in common, and it was just a great environment to be in.
And finally, you mentioned your support systems a lot in this podcast, but also just in general. How important have those people, I guess, been to you and your career?
They've been a game changer for me. I wouldn't be where I am if it weren't for the people that supported me along the way. like my family, my coaches, my friends, my teammates. They've just been there by my side through it all, through the ups and the downs, and have encouraged me through all of it. And I'm just so grateful for them because I definitely wouldn't be where I am if it weren't for them.
And before I let you go, we'll finish off with a bit of a rapid fire round.
All
Just
right.
five questions. Just give me whatever comes to mind first. First of all, who's your favorite athlete of all time that is not a gymnast?
Not a gymnast. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I actually don't know. Um, yeah, I can't even think of one right now. I was gonna say
Or
Ellie
could be a
Black.
gymnast. Ali
I was
Black.
gonna say,
Yeah,
hmm?
you could be a gymnast too.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ellie Black. That was like the first person that I was about to say, and then you said not a gymnast, and I was like, I blanked. Yeah.
Second of all, what's your guilty pleasure show or movie if you're just gonna put it on like Netflix or something?
I really like Seinfeld. It's an old one, but a good one.
Are there more doors in the world or wheels?
Oh. I mean, I would say wheels, but now you got me thinking. Because it's like, okay, like more cars, but I guess bikes don't have doors.
No.
There's a lot of bikes out there and a lot of like wheelbarrows and stuff. I would say wheels.
What's the coolest place you've traveled to because of your sport?
Probably Japan.
And finally, if you could try any sport that you haven't tried before, which one would it be?
Ooh. I feel like diving would be really cool.
You get all the gymnastics background would be good for that.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. I love watching it.
Emma, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for the time and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks again to Emma Spence for joining the show. Make sure you drop her a follow on social media. If you want to be the first person to listen to future episodes of the True North podcast and read all of my written content, you can subscribe for free wherever you get your shows and at truenorthsports.substack.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at truenorth_sport and on Instagram at truenorthsport. I've been your host, Benedict Rhodes. Thank you so much for listening.